Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Saturday, the 28th of March. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about the rental business. And if any of you guys are doing it, you can chime in anywhere. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't know it, and this is the weekend. The weekday is Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I can go off the rail and do whatever the hell I want. But I thought we still stay on point. And this is something that I've been considering, and maybe you guys can help me out with it, and that is the rental business. You know, we're around and we're fixing stuff all the time, right, for customers. But what I find is that I have a lot of stuff that doesn't get used that often. And you will find a large customer base that don't want to own pieces of equipment, but only want to use it for a short period of time. And I can give you a prime example. I sent a wood splitter out yesterday that is 13 years old. The only time we use it is usually late summer, early fall when we're getting the firewood ready for the shop. But if you set it up right, you got guys that are getting firewood for next year right now. And they're looking at how can I maximize my dollar? Do I have the room to go out and buy a brand new wood splitter and then store it all those months of not being used? Or is it cheaper and farther ahead just to go see Eric and rent his wood splitter for a weekend or a week, get it knocked out, and not have the headaches of ownership? You really got to watch out what you're doing. I can tell you that much right now because people don't treat the equipment like it was their own. It's ride her hard and rough and get the job done. You need to have it all spelled out. You need to have contracts and you need to be able to take the time to show that customer how to use that stuff. We do have a couple rental businesses, within a 20-mile radius. And one, they do exceptionally well. And they're not only a rental business, but they're a Bobcat dealership. And they're renting out skid steers, minis, handhelds, concrete, you name it. Those guys have gotten it and are renting it out. They're more geared towards the small construction to mid-sized construction businesses, right? Whereas they don't cater as much to the do-it-yourselfer. See, the problem I've got is, like with minis and skid steers, you can get a lot of work done, or you can get seriously hurt with them. So the other aspect is you need to have it so that you're paying insurance when it's sitting on your property, but you need a form to have them fill out that their homeowner's insurance is going to cover your machine while it's there on their property. And you need to walk through how that operates. And I go probably farther than what you need to. I want to feel comfortable that that person is going to use that piece of equipment the way it was made and have all their fingers and toes by the end of the day, right? That's the ultimate. But I finished up my taxes for the corporation yesterday, so I'm more at ease. So I started thinking, instead of thinking numbers, which are hard now, I started thinking, what else could we do that could generate more income and not require a lot more time from us? Because now we are starting into our busy season. But if there's a way I can make a few extra bucks on the side, why not, right? So this is kind of putting it out to you guys too, especially you guys that are already doing this. I've got a mini, I've got a skid steer, I've got 9 tractors, I've got 2 wood splitters, a rototiller, I've got a skidding winch 3-point hitch that I could do a combination of things. Uh, I thought about the side by side and the 4-wheeler, but that's where it gets iffy because, if somebody gets hurt on it, heaven forbid, then you're screwed, right? Are any of you guys doing that right now? And if you are, how do you go about it? Are you making sure that you're covered? I know in the past where we have rented a piece of equipment from a rental company and they go over it with a fine tooth comb before they send it back out again. And other than it's got a full tank of fuel, they drop it off, and some of them actually come and top it off with fuel. And instead of it's so much a day, but so much an hour too. So if you're pushing that machine more than the eight hours in a day, you're going to pay for it. So I know that that's how they worked it. It was so much for a weekend, or up to this many hours on the hour meter. But I'm looking at, I've got a gas powered wood splitter. I've got a tractor mounted wood splitter that runs off the hydraulics. I could drop a tractor off with that attached or run it to people that already have compact tractors that can plug in the remotes and then take the wood splitter on the back of their tractor wherever the wood pile is that they can just start splitting with. I've got a 3-point hitch rototiller. We use it a day a year. What I have done in the past is hire out and rototill people's gardens with my tractor and my tiller. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it so that it's less me and more the equipment that's making the money. So if somebody wanted to rent my tiller, they'd have to have a tractor, right? And almost everybody now, between the Mahindras and the LSs and all that, people have got the compact tractors. So the tiller I've got, I think, is a 4 or 5 footer, and a 25 horse, if you gear it down, will be more than enough power to do it. I've got a skidding winch that's the new style. It's not a home build, it's one that uh, I bought from a guy that was upgrading to something bigger. But that's a 3-point hitch mount. You got to have a compact tractor and you run it off the PTO, and you basically run a cable out, hook it to the tree that you want, and then pull on a rope, which tightens everything up, and the clutches engage, and it starts skidding that tree to you. When you drop the skidder winch, it locks into the ground instead of trying to pull the tractor back. It's digging into the ground deeper as it's pulling or hitting resistance. And I tell you, that sucker will pull. So I've got that I could send out. I've also got my boat with a 10 horse Nissan on it and rent that by the weekend. That when it's not in use, why not, right? You can make a few bucks on that. So, I mean, I've been contemplating all that stuff of how can I make extra income on stuff that I already have. What I have been doing or trying to do is use it or lose it. So if I'm not using it a lot, I'm trying to downsize to a certain extent. But like with the rototiller, we use that basically for deer food plots and our gardens. And it doesn't take long to turn it up. I've also got, a 2 and a 3 bottom plow that I could rent out to people that had the compact tractors. See, that's just it. If you went out and you bought yourself a compact tractor, you're probably looking at 600 to 700 a month, and you don't really have a lot of extra money to go out and be buying all these implements. But if somebody would rent it to you and all you needed it for was the day, why not? Even I would be interested in that. Instead of paying full purchase price, if I can just get it for a fraction of that and use it and then send it back, and it's not my problem, that sounds pretty decent. But again, it's going to require some time and learning the trade. Watching a few videos, but most of the guys I watch on YouTube are renting out minis and skid steers. If $500 to $800 a day, which is pretty high in our area, you can get a mini excavator like a 325 Bobcat for around $600 for the weekend. So you're talking $300 a day versus the prices that they're talking. But they're in closer to a lot of residentials. The one guy's in Florida, the other guy's in Georgia. I'm in New York, where we freeze our ass off for half the year. So in our area, when people are putting in gardens, everybody's putting in gardens. So if you have a tiller that you're willing to rent out, everybody's going to want it at the same time. You see what I'm saying? But you could also, if you had the extra time, offer it, I'll come till your garden, and you're going to have a trailer to haul the tractor and rototiller on from place to place to place. But what I do is, if I have somebody in that area that wants their garden tilled, I'll go around to all the neighbors and say, we're going to be in the area. Is that something that you might be interested in for us to go in and do the first churn with our tiller? And you'd be surprised at how many people will say yes, especially when you tell them you're going to give them a discount. Since you're already there, you don't have to load it back on the trailer. You can just drive to the next one, the next one, the next one. When you get done, then load it on the trailer and then go to a different area. There's a lot of ways you can make money in the small business, small repairs, and small engine stuff. It's just how you look at it. Chainsaws are a little iffy because I'm so worried about somebody getting hurt, because they are dangerous, but so aren't almost everything else. If you're not running it properly, you can get caught in the PTO. There's so many things that could go wrong, right? So that's why I'm kind of putting it out to you guys, is how do you cover thy ass when you are renting out? And I know that anytime I've ever rented a piece of equipment, if I broke it, I had to pay for it. If it was normal wear and tear, no. But if it's something that I was physically doing wrong with that machine and I broke it, guess what? I'm held for it. And that's how they work it up here. So just something to give some thought to, because I have all this equipment, and why not have it making money for me instead of just sitting, 360 days out of the 365 when I could be making money with them. Even I have a dump trailer. I could rent the dump trailer out, and have people fill it and then take it to the dump, have a dump fee plus trailer rental. You take it to the job site and drop it off, and you pick it up when they're done. You could do that. There's so many ways that you can make money if you're willing to apply yourself. Everything is a business. Everything can be made to suit a business. And there's nothing wrong with doing adjuncts to your repair business. If you're swamped year round, then you need to make a video so I can watch it. For me, we're already in our rush, which normally doesn't start until the end of April, early May. But with doing the early ads, I'm getting a lot of work right now, which is phenomenal. I'm very thrilled with it. That means it's going to be a smoother transition going into May and June, right? Because a lot of my guys are getting their stuff done right now so they can have it ready and out the door. But I'm looking at other ways that the stuff that I have to make money with it. So this is my latest venture is I'm going to start downloading rental agreements and suiting it to my business and start renting out equipment and dump trailers and also providing a service if they don't have a tractor and they want their garden tilled, that I'll come out with a trailer with a tractor and tiller on it and do their garden. But it's got to be worthwhile. That's why I say canvass the local area around that person and even talk to them about, I can give you guys a better deal if we can get a bunch of you guys to help offset the cost of running that piece of equipment in that trailer and truck. In the comments, if you're doing it, how are you doing it, and what are the pitfalls that could be? I know liability is probably the biggest, and damages is second, but we're dealing with that every day in the repair business, whether we like it or not. That piece of equipment, if it leaves your shop, you're liable for it. You're the last one to put your hands on it. If somebody gets hurt on it because of something you did or didn't do, you can still be held liable. That's what I mean by, being a legit business. There's a lot of people with their hands out, especially insurance companies wanting their take. And you're not paying the insurance company, I guess peace of mind would be one, but as a safety gap in case something does happen, that the insurance will cover it. So on that note, you guys have a great Saturday. We'll be here bright and early probably tomorrow morning. I'm not sure what today will bring, but I got a bunch of beef cows that are getting ready to have calves, so I got to check on them today, put some more hay in for them, and see what today brings. On that note, you guys have a great Saturday.